Hello, Tony.
Continuing on with our theme of health at the moment, sort of feel that health is a huge part of our wealth. If we don't have health, we don't really have anything. There's no point in having a whole lot of wealth if you can't enjoy it and if you're not healthy enough to actually use it as such. So I'm just going to share my screen and bring up my slides, and we can get started. So this is going to be a bit of an overview of what I call the elemental health pillars. It's a bit of a, basically, when I say elemental, each key aspect of our health is related to 5 key elements. And really they're all those elements are all different levels of energy. Even at the physical level, I mean, there's an energy resonance in the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual aspects of life. They just
Tony, have you opened your slideshow?
yeah, yep.
Oh, okay. We're just getting your guest spot thing. Did you choose entire screen? Did you choose slideshow?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did.
Share screen? Did you click share screen on that?
Yes.
Try it again.
Okay, you see it now?
I just see your guest spot, which says choose what to share, but you haven't clicked the orange button on the right. Choose
Yeah,
what to share. Have you
yeah,
have you
I have.
clicked that button that says share, the orange button?
Yes, I have.
Ah.
Okay.
So click the orange
I'll go into my system. Probably the bloody thing has changed again. What's the where do I go in the settings? Security and
privacy. Yeah, privacy.
and was it accessibility?
Um,
Screen record.
screen sharing, screen recording.
And then what?
Was it Chrome or Ecamm Live?
Google Chrome is ticked.
Okay. Then then it should be all right.
Yes. Sorry, excuse us while we have some slight technical issues.
So when you click on your guest spot, that gray thing that says share screen, right? Then you get a new window and it says entire window. So you click
Mhm,
the orange button.
mhm. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Yes.
Okay, so that's where we got, but it's not pulling up. It's not pulling up your actual slideshow. I can't see your slideshow anyway. Ah, because you're in Brave. Are you in Brave?
I am, and yeah, how did that happen? Okay. So I've got to have to go. Am I going to have to go out?
Yeah. So remember that link and then open up Chrome and go into Chrome. Remember the guest spot link.
Yeah, well, I retrieve it from Chrome, so that's all I did. I just go into Chrome and retrieve it. So I'll have to go. I'll have to, yeah.
Right. Well, sorry, folks. We're just having a technical issue there of sharing the screen. But Tony should be back very shortly. He seems to have left. Here we go. Tony's just coming back now. Okay. Hi, Tony. Are you on Chrome now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Yep. All good.
Right. So sorry about that. Technical issues always throw me off. It always, it's my Achilles heel. So health is wealth. So this is an overview of the elemental health pillars. Elemental meaning the key elements that make up our life: the physical element, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. That's really the key is integrating these elements into into a whole, a greater whole, basically. So the way I see it, true health is not just the absence of disease or the absence of any illness. It is a state of energy resonance. So if we're not suffering with anything, apparent, we tend to say, well, we're healthy. But really, are we? Are we really healthy? I think we get used to a certain common denominator, and we tend to think that's reality. When really we don't always know just how much better it can actually be. And so we need to think in terms of energy, the way I see it, rather than just focusing totally on the physical, is really only going to bring limited results. By bringing energy into the equation, we can get a lot more quantum results, not just in our health, but in all areas of life. So health is subject to energy and your alignment with the nature of reality. The more aligned we are with reality, the more energized we're going to be and the more healthy we're going to be. And health is joy. I mean, like an unbridled joy. True health is also truth, and freedom and love. And you could see these all as aspects of a true holistic health. So when let's look at the 5 elements of a healthy being. So at the top here, I've put conscious mind. It's all about mindset, but really what we're really striving for is a conscious mind. And a conscious mind is an aware mind, and it is open. And it dictates the level of your thinking, and thinking then directs our energy and our emotions. So on the right here, I've got heart and passion. The heart energy is very much critical to our health. And then we've got the spiritual energy over here on the left. And at the base, we've got our physical reality. This includes our material reality, and our environment, our physical environment, and on the bottom right, food, water, and minerals. I mean, there's other things that we could put in here, but this is what I see as where I'm at, and I'm going to go into obviously a bit more detail on each of these. But these are the high level areas or pillars that I'm referring to. So when we look at the mind and our mindset and emotions, because really the mind and the emotions are actually intricately connected. They're not separate. Everything is connected by energy. And when we have a thought, we will have an emotion that is consummate to that thought. So if you have a negative thoughts, especially if there's a whole stream of them, then you are probably not going to feel so great. Well, if you have positive thoughts and they are realistically positive thoughts, then you're going to have more true positive emotions. So this is all about, I'm mentioning the mind first because I see it as a starting point. It is the control non-control room. In other words, it's where we control ourselves, but we have to also learn that there's areas that we cannot control. And so this is where the mind has to know the difference between controlling ourselves versus controlling things that we cannot control, that's beyond our control. And I think a lot of people worry about things that they cannot control, and therefore they are going to be, it's going to create a negative spiral, if you like. Thoughts direct emotions, and also emotions give feedback to more thoughts as well. So it's actually a loop. And all of this thought and emotion is impacting the body very directly. Hence why it is often called the body mind, because our mind and the body are not separate, as are the emotions. And when we get aches and pains, when we're feeling low in our physical health, often that is related to beliefs or more directly negative emotions that have got stuck. They actually get stuck in the body. And different areas of our life are related to different areas of our body. Like the feet is about grounding, the legs is about moving forward, the torso and the back is like support, the heart and the chest is more about our feelings of love and emotion area. The throat, the neck is all about speech, listening and speaking, and intuition as well as the throat area. And the head is obviously it is the director. It's the control center. It's the head office, if you like to call it that. So conscious awareness and direction is key. When we're conscious and we're aware, then we are going to be on the direction that is right for us. Our direction is dictated by our clarity of our thought, whereas emotion is the power. The two need to go together. So the true balance comes from within. Harmony comes from within. We do not get harmony from the outside. We may get some brief spikes and happiness, so, a new car, a new house, something you really wanted, a new partner, but the real essence of it, the real essence of health comes from within. The mind is really what it's used for. It's a tool. It's like a tool, like a lot of things. It's also like a doorway, and so the door needs to be open, and it is also used to witness ourselves. The more conscious we are, the more we will be conscious of what we're thinking, doing, feeling. And that's the real trick. We need to be in a state of awareness of inside ourselves and outside. And that takes a lot of practice. The subconscious reprogramming. I say reprogramming because most of us, unless you're a highly enlightened monk, most of us have a lot of programming from our childhood as we're brought up, from the TV, from parents, from school days. Everything around us is programming us. And so we need to reprogram. We need to overwrite those programs with new, you could say, positive programs rather than negative programming. And in the first 7 years of our life is when most of that programming, the really deep-seated programming, happens. So this is why it's so difficult to sometimes move forward. You might think you're conscious and you know what you want, but if the programming is still there deep inside your subconscious mind, no matter how hard you try, you will not achieve what you really want until these programs are brought to light. By witnessing them is bringing things to light. By seeing it, by seeing the beliefs that you have, then you can change them. Until they are conscious, they will remain unconscious, and while they're unconscious, that is what is going to direct your life. And we are having thousands of thoughts every hour, day. We're having probably hundreds of thousands of thoughts, and most of them are useless thoughts, but they are all directing what's happening in your life. The mind is designed to have times of stillness and silence, and that's not just when you're asleep. It's also when you're awake. So meditation is really good. Finding time in nature, doing things that require concentration and focus is also, it's not meditation, but concentration techniques are also very good for the mind. And like I was saying, the mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. And the mind it's, as I say, it's a tool, and really the ultimate way to use the tool is for it to come into oneness, to collapse the duality. To get out of duality is to get out of the 3D, to get out of the swamp, if you like. We need to elevate ourselves from the polarization that is happening on the earth plane. So the next main pillar in my book is all around what we ingest: food, water, and minerals, particularly. Let thy medicine be thy food, and food thy medicine. That's what Hippocrates said. It's so true. it's certainly it's not just for the body. When you're feeding yourself your food, will have an impact on your mental state, your emotional state, and if it's having an effect on that level, it will be affecting you in a spiritual, energetic as well. So we are what we eat. We are also what we think and what we feel, and what we believe. But we are what we eat as well to a high degree. And it's also not what we eat, it's how we eat, when we eat, and your state of mind when you're eating. So to eat slower is one thing I have to sometimes remind myself. I sometimes eat too fast. I eat when I'm talking, not good. So we need to eat in silence. And it's always good to spend a few seconds just with a bit of a few seconds of silence. We could say a little bit of a meditative state on our food before we eat as well. It's these little things are what are very important. Most disease is a blockage through excess of something that is too much of something, or or a deficiency, caused through a deficiency of something that we need that we're not getting, and those deficiencies are normally minerals and vitamins. we and so other types of blockage is like a plaque. You can get plaque on your teeth. You get plaque in your arteries as well. You'll get blockages in your intestines, in your colon, particularly the large intestine is where. And if there's a blockage in there, minerals are not going to get it properly absorbed. If you've got something like leaky gut, where it's literally created a hole in your gut, then things are going to leach into your bloodstream, and that is not good. I'm actually dealing with a little bit of that myself, and so I'm actually in the midst of a detox right now. Organics, where possible, really spray-free organic food is the way to go. And ideally, if you can grow it yourself, it's even better, because there's a symbiotic relationship between when you are growing your food, when you're putting your energy into the food that you grow, and then you eat it, and eating it straight out of the garden. There's almost nothing as good as that. I mean, I love just eating real fresh food, straight, freshly picked. There's something really amazing about it. I can't put my finger on it, but it is amazing. And again, it's just such a simple thing, but we need to go over these simplicities. We need to get our foundation right. Also salt. Now, I know a lot of people, we've been programmed that salt is bad for us. Yeah, certain types of salt, particularly that stuff that's called iodized salt in the supermarket, that is not good salt. And we don't need too much. We only need what we need, and you'll need more if you're active and if you're doing physical stuff and you're sweating. If you're sweating out a lot, you'll notice that it's actually really salty. So we're made of salt. Salt in its truest form is actually all the minerals in one place. But what they do is they strip out all those minerals, and then they're basically giving us a waste product, and they put a synthetic iodine into the salt. If you look at the salt shaker, if you've got a standard salt from the supermarket, it'll say iodate, not iodine. iodate is a synthetic copy of iodine and it cannot be uptaken by the body. I brought the Himalayan salt to New Zealand. I know quite a bit about salt. I was a salt merchant for many years. And so I highly recommend that you add salt to your food. Good quality sea salt is very good. It doesn't have to be Himalayan salt. It could be sea salt or any kind of rock salt. It's brilliant. And you'll notice that when you have salt, you need more water. Water and salt go together. There is a guy, I forget his name, but he wrote a book about just called Salt and Water. And he was in prison for quite a few years, I think, because he was promoting things that the authorities didn't like about health. And he survived on salt and water for many, many months. And it cured him, it healed him of many of his ailments just by having that in prison. I thought that was an incredible story. So minerals also, and salt is what creates our bone and our harder, the infrastructure of our body. It is the minerals that knit together that create our bones, and to a lesser degree our ligaments, and in our blood we need salt, and we need sufficient good quality water to match. And the salt in the water, what it does is it creates this pump action, the potassium sodium pump, and the salt allows the water to be released into the cellular structure. That's where the water needs to get. If you're just having too much toxin, too much bad salt, the water stays outside the cell, and that's when you get hypertension. That's when you get excess weight, as most of it is water, and we get water retention because the water is held outside the cell, and therefore it's not flushing the toxins out of the cells. It is not doing its job inside the cell. That is so important. So herbs and spices. This is also very important. Natural herbs out of the garden. Our basil, our thyme, rosemary, all of those kind of herbs. Absolutely, I think is absolutely important to add to our food. Coriander is amazing. It will take out heavy metals. And then there's the herbal concoctions that we can get as well, which also are very, very good for you. There's so many herbs. You just go to a herbalist, you'll see lots and lots of concoctions. And spices are very important as well because they put more heat into the food. Particularly if there are things like chili. Chili is very good because it creates the digestive fire, and that really helps us to digest our food. So spices are very important to help with digestion, as well as many, many other things. So many things: enzymic function, mineral absorption, heating and cooling as well if needed. If it's very hot, you can have spice that can cool you down. And so salt is a kind of spice as well. So I was talking about feeding the cells. That's what I was saying with the water, and detoxification and juicing. We should be doing a major detox at least once a year as a maintenance. I mean, if we just never serviced our car, eventually the car will get clogged up with exhaust, the oil will get very dirty, and your car is going to give you a lot of problems. Well, it's the same with our body. We need to service the body. We need to flush it out. We, particularly now, with there's so much toxins in the air, there's toxins in our food, there's toxins everywhere in this world now. And stay away from processed food because that has so many toxins in. And juicing, we could do juicing on a regular monthly basis, or even a daily or semi-daily basis. But just remember, with juicing, it's important sometimes to juice the whole, just to get the juice, and then sometimes you should put it in a blender, or I forget what it is. There's a thing that you can whiz things up in, and eat the fiber of it as well, because the fiber is what creates bulk, and that helps you with better elimination. But it's also good to have just the pure straight juice without the pulp as well. And that also fasting. Fasting is also a great thing to do. You could do a fast, like say every Sunday or Saturday, or maybe just. I'm a great believer that we should have something for breakfast, but I know other people, they don't like doing that. So you could skip breakfast and have a lunch, or just have a couple of meals a day, and don't eat too much too late at night, because that is not good for the body either. So moving along, so the physical, material life and our environment. I think sometimes not enough attention is actually paid to this area, or maybe in some cases too much attention, particularly on the physical side. But we've got to get it in balance. I mean, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So health is also wealth. I think it's important that we should look after our wealth. When I say wealth, I mean like not just money, but wealth in the sense of, I mean, if you've got a plot of land, I think that's a very good thing to have. Obviously also wealth of friends, wealth of assets. Assets are really key to wealth, and they could be tangible and intangible. Our relationships, very important for health. Good quality relationships, having really true friends, relationships with our family, very important. Connection is so important to health. If people are lonely, or people feel very isolated, often this leads to mental issues, and quite a lot of people commit suicide when they completely feel disconnected from the world and from people. Body temple, our body is a temple. We need to pay more attention to our body. I know some of us tend to ignore the body, and particularly in the spiritual realm, I knew a lot of people that were very much like, they didn't pay attention to the body hardly at all. It was all about spirituality, and meanwhile they could hardly walk, and they had all these aches and pains, so I think we need to love our body a lot more than we do. And with that comes exercise. Exercise, it's just common sense, but even just walking is one of the most best exercise you can do, is just do a decent walk. But also high repetition, hard exercise for 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and then having a rest. I think they call it high intensive interval training. HIIT. It is very good for you to get your heart rate up, to get everything moving, helps with detoxification. I also do an exercise routine with a Pilates roller and a spiky ball and a big band, a Pilates band. And stretching is also important. To stretch the opposite way that you often tend to, it's the opposite to, say, sitting. If we're sitting for long periods, we should be stretching the opposite way. Sleep, very important to have sleep, not too much sleep, but enough sleep. Everyone has different needs. Just have the right amount of sleep. If you're feeling refreshed and ready to jump out of bed in the morning, I'd say then you've had enough sleep. Ultimately, in the old days, it was always, early to bed, early to rise. Sort of basically in our ancestors, they would go to sleep pretty much with sundown, and then they would get up at sunrise or pre-sunrise. We've kind of got a little bit lazy, and I think a lot of people sleep too much, or they're not getting really good quality sleep. One thing I found that's really good for sleep is CBD oil. Very good for sleep. If you need something, don't take sleeping pills. You can have relaxing herbal teas at night. You can have the CBD and magnesium, mineral magnesium. Very good for helping with sleep. Breath goes without saying, but deep breathing is great, and as well as watchful breathing. Basically, just watching your breath is a very good mind relaxing exercise. You'll find yourself relax, and your mind will start letting go very quickly when you just watch your breath. Like, try to look at the tip of your nose and just follow the breath, just in its natural rhythm. Don't try to force it. But there's many other types of breathing exercises you can do. There's diaphragmic breathing, there's alternate nostril breathing, there's more fast and harder breathing, as well as light, gentle breaths as well. Nature and the natural environment. This is really important for our health. Connection to nature, connection to our natural environment. You're getting oxygenated. You're getting, it's helping to calm your mind. It's grounding you. It's doing a lot of things. Being by the beach, swimming, that sort of thing. Bushwalking, brilliant. I absolutely love it when I do a bushwalk. I always feel I might feel a bit tired at the end, but I feel energized in a way as well, and clear in your mind. And then the next day, you find that you feel good. Community, we are the company we keep. If you're associating with people that are dragging you down, then I suggest that's not great for your health, and you should sever ties with people that you don't resonate with. EMF protection, that's become really important. I do sell a pendant for EMF protection if people want. It's a great thing to have. There's quite a few things on the market where people can get EMF protection from wireless, from phones, computers. We need to take a break from it, and we should have proper protection. And I've got up here health as well, but also financial freedom. Financial freedom is very important for our health, or at least satisfaction and contentment with where you're at. You don't have to have a goal of being super rich or anything like that. It's just a balance, and everyone is different. But I suggest getting out of debt to the best of your ability, or at least bad debt. When I say bad debt, there's debt that, like debt that's worse for us than there is a better kind of debt. Such as say you get a mortgage on a rental property, and the rental is covering your mortgage plus some, then that's what I call better debt, because then it's not coming out of your pocket. The debt is giving you access to a higher cash flow. So that I see that as quite positive. Although in this day and age, anything is possible. And I think that we should just be very careful around debt right now, because the asset prices are coming down, property prices are going to collapse, and we don't want to get exposed. So moving on to the next thing is what I care. Health is heart and passion for a purpose. And our passion really comes from our heart. And our heart, it's in the center for a reason, because it helps for us to be centered. But the heart is not just a pump, pumping blood around our body. The heart is much more than that. It's actually it's a resonator. It's a highly tooled natural technology that's way beyond what we might realize. So having an open heart, having a heartfelt life is very, very good for your health. And I say here, raise emotions to heartfelt feelings. So emotions are like the lower end of the spectrum of true heart feelings. So we need to raise our emotions up to the heart level. That's really important for, and this is medicineless health. This does not require a drug or spending any money. Most of health can be maintained for free. So we don't have to have a supplement. We don't have to be a supplement junkie or anything like that. We just need to come from the heart, and this is really simple but overlooked. So we've got to get to the heart of the matter, as the saying goes, because being centered matters. It matters a great deal, and this is where we get our meaning, is from our heart. And heart. So doing things where your heart is invested, you will invariably be very successful at it. So we need to align our mind and our heart. It's not about being all heart and no mind, or all mind and no heart. We have to balance the two. In Tibetan culture, they call this the rainbow bridge. We need to build our rainbow bridge. And the heart actually has a mind of its own as well. It actually has neurons in the heart, deep in the heart. So it does have and it does, like the mind, it has a field. There's a field around the heart. So when we're working, it's really best to be working for a worthy cause, or working with a purpose in mind, because purpose will bring life direction. And if you've got a real heartfelt, purposeful direction, I would guarantee that you are a very healthy and energized person, without a doubt. Love powers the universe. It absolutely does. Love is really the ultimate truth. Love is the ultimate key, really, to life. And truth comes from the heart as well. Truth and love are interchangeable. Love is truth, and truth is love. A higher expression of. And connection comes from the heart. So when we're connected well, when we're connected to our own heart, it's great. And when we're connected to others heart to heart, that is really, really powerful. And this creates a resonance. This creates the energy that we need. So moving into energy, the way I see it, spirituality, a spiritual life is energy. Spirit is really the energy that animates our body. Spiritual means spirit you all, and we all have a spirit. We all are made of spirit or soul. We all have a soul. We all have a certain sense of spirit, and that is what brings us energy, ultimately, literally as well as figuratively. So everything is energy and everything is connected. That's everything in the far reaches of the universe, everything between people, between nature. There's even an energy resonance with inanimate objects, but obviously very, very low, but it's a certain energy that holds it all together. I mean, if like a table is only a table because the energy is holding it together as a table. If there was no energy, there would be nothing. There'd be nothing, period. So everything is energy, everything is connected. To connect, so we need to connect our spirit to our body and to the earth. Spiritual life is great, but we need to have an anchor. We need to be anchored to earth. We need to be anchored to our body. We need to be in our body, but having a spiritual experiences as well. So this sometimes is hard to do. People are either focused on one or the other, not and in both. We also are the same with our mind and our emotions. We need to be connected. We need to be aware of our mind and emotions and balance up the left and right, whereas the spirit and our body or earth is like the above and below. And this is what creates the cross. This is the cross of changes. Integration and implementation is a key. So when we have a spiritual inspiration and that, nothing's going to happen until we actually implement it. So we're getting lots of bright, creative ideas that you could say come from spirit or are inspired, which is what spiritual means, to be inspirited or inspired. We've got to translate that into action and apply it in our physical reality. And we also must remember all physicality comes from spirituality. Without energy, without a spiritual energy, there would be no physical reality at all. It wouldn't exist. So this is what a torus field is. This is what matter comes from torus fields and out of the quantum energy. It's a fascinating field of study. I've always been fascinated with Nassim Harriman, who presents it really well, and there's a few others. But it's these are the blueprints of our life. We have a torus field around us. The Earth has a torus field around it. Everything has a torus field. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. So this goes for inanimate as well as animated beings. So like money is an energy. It cannot, wealth is an energy, and it cannot be destroyed, only transformed. This is what we're seeing today with this reset. That's why they need to reset us. This is why it's just the movement of energy into a different form, and the current energy, if you like, of our financial system is collapsing. So that's why it is now being transformed into a different system, because it's created in a way where it's not aligned with natural principles. This is why they have to transform it now. If they left it to its own devices, it would just completely collapse. And then there will be serious chaos. But we're in a chaotic time anyway. So yeah, but it's the same with our bodies. When we die, we're just energy that will be transformed into another reality. So there is such a thing as medicineless hospitals. In China, there's medicineless hospitals. I don't know whether they still exist today, but I saw an amazing presentation on this medicineless hospitals in China. Even though we think of China as such a backward, such a totalitarian country, they also have got the most incredible things that have come out of China. And these medicineless hospitals, what they do is they bring in they're like shaman, and they would do chanting around the patient. They would hold the energy, they would bring in the energy, and people will have spontaneous healings from these people. That's idea that in old days, that's exactly what a practitioner was, or a doctor. A doctor didn't do much except simply bring their energy into the equation so that the patient could sort of basically heal through the energetics that the doctor was doing. Like, and in the old days, it was like shamans. It was like people who knew how to transcend and transmute energy. And so natural healing, to me, natural healing is the future. This is why it's getting demonized right now. And Albert Einstein said, future medicine will be the medicine frequencies. See, a frequency is just energy. And on that note, some of you may know that we are promoting an energetic frequency healing device called the Iteracare. We call it the magic wand. And it is actually using medbed technology. And this is being built in China today as well, which I find very fascinating, that such an advanced type of device could be beginning built in China. You certainly wouldn't be able to build that in most Western countries, that's for sure. So it is interesting. So we are going to be putting out more information about the Iteracare, but if you want to know more, you can just reach out. So basically, that is my presentation for today. I'll stop sharing. Yeah, so thanks for those that have come. Just a bit of a small crew today, but good to see you, David. Good to see you, Benji. Haven't seen your name pop up for a while. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah. If anyone's got any comments or queries, otherwise we'll wrap it up. Anything you want to say, Gerald? You're on mute, Gerald.
Yeah, you've covered a lot of ground, and I think yeah, that's quite a lot for people to work with. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at health also for at least 30 or 40 years, and holistic health, and it's just an amazing field of how everything interacts really, and how um, yeah, actually how simple it is. We've created a medical system that's made health sound so complicated, and they've made it so complicated when actually the principles of health are reducible to just a few, like you mentioned. Um,
Yeah,
and if we followed those principles, then we could be healthy. I mean, there's, you know, how what do you call the centenarians? Like, okay, you've got some centenarians in different parts of the world, and you ask them, well, what's the secret of your, health? And they say, oh, I just eat fresh food, or, I just wake up early in the morning, or, I work hard all day, or whatever it is. They've got their own approach to it, but it's very, very simple things.
yeah.
It's, yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. At the basis, everything is simple, but it's not necessarily easy to work out.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get to that simplicity. So,
Yes.
this was the purpose of this presentation was covering a bit of ground because it's an overview.
Mm.
But what I intend to do now is to go into each of those areas, and we can go into more detail, and we can focus on those different areas, or those different pillars. And uh, the thing is, I find with a lot of people, they want to know all this really quite full on stuff. They want meaty stuff. But if you talk about real simple basic stuff, people go, "Oh yeah, I know that."
I
There's
know
yeah,
that. And then you ask them,
I've heard it
how
all
often do you
before.
do
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah, and they don't actually do it. They
Yeah.
don't actually follow it. They don't actually, um, you know, they're not actually taking their own advice. And
Yes.
this is why I find a great starting point is just to work with nature,
Mm,
and see
mm,
nature in its inherent, boil it down, is very, very simple. And anyone can go and sit in nature.
yes.
But people are too busy. Oh, I'm too busy to do that. Or
Oh,
like
yeah.
today, I mean, I've been on the computer Zooming this morning and that, and then I was preparing for this. But in the middle of the day, I went out and I planted my garlic. I went out
Mm,
and planted garlic in the garden. So I broke it up and then once I'd done that, I come back inside. I'm rearing to go again.
yes.
And so what we can do is we could just if we can just interchange our life with the variety of doing our work inside, going outside, doing then spending time, with your partner or your wife or husband, and with the pets. And I love nothing more now than putting the fire on. I just
Mm,
like the concept of lighting the fire and watching the fire,
yes.
and it's like a meditation for me.
Yeah.
And it's getting back to those
Well,
simple ways.
what does it do? If you kind of think, if you reflect while you're building the fire, how do you feel? It feels good, doesn't it? You feel good about it. You feel like you're building something, and then when you see the first flames, it's exciting, and it's like, and all it's all healing going on in the body. All those feelings that you're getting watching the fire build. It's actually a healing experience.
It
It's
kind of is, and a lot of that is because they're emitting a lot of negative ions.
mm,
And I think it's the what we're watching is an alchemical process at work, and the energy of that, somehow our primal mind understands that, and
mm,
it gets excited by this incredible. It's like magic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if we were in, imagine if we were a caveman and we had never seen fire before, and we saw fire,
Mm.
we'd think, "Oh my God, that is like incredible, right?" Some people say it was the best invention. That and the wheel. Invention of fire and the wheel were the two most important inventions ever.
Yeah.
But we won't think about that today. It's more like, oh, well, how good is my computer, or how fast is my computer, or some gadget.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think we've made that point. I mean, simple is best. Basic is not necessarily um, to be written off. Sometimes
Oh,
basic can be far more fulfilling than people who have everything and are living very complex lives.
yeah. They're missing the point sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, great to have this presentation. Thanks for those that came.
Yeah.
And yeah, hope everyone has a great weekend. And
Oh,
I'll,
just to let you know, guys, we'll be talking next weekend, not this weekend, but following weekend, the 25th, at um, Lone Star Restaurant in New Lynn. So we'll be talking about crypto, and there'll be David Holden and Lindsay Best talking about health. So and it's going to be a big get together as well as Lone Star closes down, because you might have heard that it was closed down, and yeah, and so it's that they'll be one of probably their last event. So yeah, if you want to turn up and we can all meet up, do come along. We'll send out the information over the next week for you to register if you're interested.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
awesome. Yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Tony, and
Yep,
have a good
you're welcome.
weekend.
Cheers. See ya.